Very good morning. Hello. Hello. Is it audible?
Sir, audible.
Okay. A very good morning. So in the last class, we discussed about what is viscosity. Okay. Uh, we discussed about the definition. We discussed about viscosity versus temperature because viscosity is a function of temperature and pressure. So first we discussed about viscosity versus temperature. Then we discussed about viscosity influence on pressure as well as density. And lastly, we discussed about viscosity index. Today, we discussed about what are the advantages of tribological treatment. Means if we use a tribology in our present existing system, what are its benefits? So first, we already discussed what is tribology and what are the tribological problems. We already discussed, so that you can aware of what are its problem, and if you properly do the tribological solution, what are its benefits. That is what we already discussed. The same thing we discussed here is advantages of tribological treatment. The first foremost advantage is uh, to improve equipments or systems availability by reducing a clear of failure, the chances of failure. The first advantage is to improve equipment or system availability by reducing the chances of failure. Means if we use tribological proper solution in our equipments or system, we can reduce the chances of failure and increase the availability of the machine or equipment. Means we can increase the availability, decrease the chances of failure. Life cycle will increases, the lifespan of the component will increases. Again, take an example of any component. It may be a machine tool or it may be automobile. Take in your bike or car. So bike or car is having some lifespan, maybe 20 years or 25 years. That is the lifespan of car or bike. Okay. If you not use a tribological solution, means proper lubrication or changing engine oil or proper maintenance, the lifespan of the car or bike going to reduce. It may be 5 years or it may be 10 years. Within that, it going to failure because you are not maintained the maintenance. Maintenance means a proper using engine oil to reduce the friction or lubricants to reduce the friction again between the two mating surfaces. So if you use those things properly, you can increase the lifespan. It may increase 20 years or 25 years or 30 years. Up to 30 years you can easily utilize those bikes without a failure. That is the first advantage. That is, it increases the availability. Second advantage, it improves equipment reliability and maintainability by introducing more fail-safe components. It is also same like a first one, means by using a proper techniques in the components, we can increase the reliability, means dependability on that component, and also maintainability by introducing a more fail-safe components. Means if we use those techniques properly, we can increase the reliability and we can trust on that component, trusting on that component without any second thought. We can easily use those components for our purpose. That is what reliability. And also we can reduce the maintenance. Means if you use proper tribological solution, indirectly it will reduce the overall maintenance of that equipment. That is another advantage. And come to the next advantage, to reduce power consumption. Obviously we know that if you reduce the friction, it will reduce the power consumption. How you can reduce the friction? By introducing proper lubrication between the two mating surfaces. It try to reduce the friction. If friction is reduces, power consumption is also reduces, because friction is a negative force. To compensate that force, we have to use more power, because some amount of power is utilized to compensate that negative pressure. That is what friction. So that it is an extra power consumption. If you avoid the friction, it will reduce the power consumption. Next, to help in the condition monitoring and condition based maintenance for equipments. That is what we know, that by using a proper tribological solution, we can easily monitoring and condition based maintenance on the equipment. It will easy to maintain. Next, design out maintenance. It is another advantage. And the last advantage is to assist in modification or replacement structure. Means by using proper lubrications or proper tribological solutions, and by using that we can assist that whether the system need a modification or it need a replacement, that we can easily decide. It is also one of the advantage. So these are the common advantages of using tribological solutions in our system or equipments. Next, come to the applications where we can use the tribological solutions or tribology. So first application, the tribology has been important in numerous industrial application. First thing, it is used in industrial application. That is what the major sector. Major sector for tribology is industrial application. Requires a relative motion. Example, railroads, automobiles, aircraft, manufacturing process, machine components, means all the machine tools like lathe, drilling, milling, everything, machine tools. It needed tribological solutions because there is an contact between the two meeting surfaces. Just to transmit the power, so that there is a must for the contact between the two surfaces. We cannot eliminate contacting between two surfaces, so that we can use lubrication to avoid friction between those two surfaces. Next, it is also affect day-to-day life. Yes, it's a day-to-day life where you can see the tribology. The writing accomplished by controlled transfer of pencils, means a writing. You want to write something on the paper, we have to use a pen. But pen we have to hold. By properly we have to hold the pen by applying some pressure or load on the pen. And we have to write something on the paper, means we have to apply pressure on the paper also. Correct? So it's controlled transfer of pressure or load on the pencil or a pen to the paper, so that we can able to write. If there is no load or pressure, so that we cannot write. Without load or pressure, can you write anything? No, it is not possible. You have to first hold the pen or a pencil, then you have to apply some pressure so that you can write it on the paper. That's the first thing. Second, as come to the shaving cream. So if you want to shave, means remove the hairs, again we are going to apply the shaving cream so that it will reduce the friction between the blade and the skin. So eraser is a blade, razor, okay. So blade and the skin, there is a friction. Without cream, yes, you can cut the air, but it induces a lot of friction. It may tear your skin. To avoid that one, you have to use a shaving cream. Next, a friction helps to walking, driving, and in the sports. You can take any sports. We need a friction between either bat and your hand, so that you can properly hold. And in the golf, etc., whatever you have to hold, you need a power or some pressure. And walking or driving, again, if you want to hold the steering in the car, again you need a some pressure or load. Again, for walking also you need a pressure and a load, so that you need some positive friction. That positive friction helps to walk, to drive, and some sports action. Next, body joints needs to lubricate. Yes, in our body there are many joints, and those joints need a proper lubrication. If you if it is a lack of lubrication, obviously the bone joints or the bone will start wear out, and it needs to replace. So ನೀವೆಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ after a certain age ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the bone is already wear out, okay, so you need to replace, or some pain, knee pain, joint pain, it is just because of lack of lubrication. If there is a proper lubrication, again we can easily avoid those problems. Next, air conditioner. Again, the air, it's also some simple example. So if in the difference between the dry air and wet air, so wet air means it provides the smooth, okay, you can easily comb, but in the in the dry air you cannot easily comb because it's a, there is no lubricant. Here the lubricant is air oil. So whatever the air oil you are using, or whatever the air conditioner what you are using, it's a lubricant. Next, skin creams, what you are applying for in your face, skin in parlor, it is also a type of lubrication. Lotions or creams, whatever they are used to our first to avoid the friction, and to avoid the whatever the it protects from the sun. Next, NEMS and MEMS are the other industrial applications, micro and nano tribological studies. It is an industrial application. NEMS, MEMS, next gear, cams, etc. They all need a lubrications. Gear, cams, whatever they need to transmit the power from one place to another place. There should be a two contact between the two surfaces. We cannot avoid. So here we need what is just a lubricant to avoid or to slow down the friction between the two metal surfaces. So these are the common applications what we can see the tribology, okay, in our day-to-day life as well as industrial applications. Hello, answer my question. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? What are the advantages of tribology and why we have to use tribology in our industrial application, day-to-day life applications? What are its importance or significance? Is it clear? Yes, please answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.